Hey, Mom! I'm back in town.
Oh, was it today? It totally slipped my mind. I'm sorry I couldn't help you much with your moving.
It's okay. The moving company is handling everything anyway. Mitch already started unpacking.
Tell him I said hi. Are you too glad to be back in the neighborhood, or do you miss Madrid already?
Living in Europe was a good experience, and we liked Madrid a lot. I wish you could come visit us while we were there.
I wish I could too, but the timing just didn't work out, you know?
How is it living with Isabel? Has it been a couple of months now?
Yes, Isabel and Chris moved in 6 months ago. It all happened so quickly. I didn't even get the chance to say no.
I don't really know her husband well. In fact, I don't think we've met in person. What is he like?
Honestly, I don't really know either. I barely ever talk to him.
But you live with them.
Probably because I live with them. I think he avoids talking to me out of awkwardness.
What? But they're the ones who wanted to move into your house?
I bet Isabella forced him. She can be very persuasive.
Ah, I see. You're right. Isabel can be a bit selfish. Dad was the only one who could stop her. Mom, is she treating you well? She better not be making you do all their housework.
Oh, that's not a big deal.
Wait a second. Do you mean she really is making you do everything? She's an adult, Mom. You can say no. I'll stop by your house soon and have a chat with her. She needs to do her own chores.
It's all right. I'm happy to do it. Stop worrying about me, Sophie. You have a 3-year-old to look after. I can take care of myself.
But I will be coming over soon. I don't need to get on a plane anymore to see you. It should take less than an hour.
I look forward to seeing you soon, honey.
Yes, me too. Actually, after I visit you, you should come back here with me. Stay with us for a couple of days.
I don't know. I have a part-time job, so I don't know if it will work out.
You have a job?
Yes, I do, so I don't lose my mind. It's all good exercise.
Oh, okay. Well, you don't work every day, do you? I'll drive you back when you need, so come stay with us, perhaps for a night.
Well, I would love to, but I will ask Isabel what she thinks first.
Why do you need to ask Isabel?
I just want to make sure it's not bad timing for her. Don't worry, I will work something out.
Okay then. Well, let me know when is best for you. I can't wait to have you here. A week later. Isabel, what the hell is wrong with you?
What are you talking about?
About Mom. She began to cry when we were having dinner at my house earlier. She said she doesn't want to go home.
Huh? Why?
I think you know why. You and Chris have been treating her like a slave, haven't you?
What? Of course we are not.
You make her do all the housework.
Oh, you're talking about housework? I never asked her to do anything. She just volunteers.
Because you two never do anything. Is it also true that you confiscated the things I've sent her? Like her birthday presents and gifts from Spain?
I just borrowed them. She had no use with any of those items anyways. I only helped so it wouldn't go to waste.
I gave it to her, not you. Besides, you don't get to decide how she uses the gifts. And what is this about not paying any of the utilities? You two are adults. Why are you making Mom look after you?
Shut up. You are just like Dad. I wish you never came back from Madrid.
I will not shut up because you are being so selfish. Mom's been asking you to pitch in for the bills. Why have you not paid her?
Neither of us are home much. The two of us living here shouldn't have much impact on her bills.
What about for food? You make her cook every meal, don't you?
We have very small appetites, and it's only a few $100 at most. What's the fuss?
If you think it's only a few $100, then you should pay.
Who do you think looks after the old woman? Me, not you, so stay out of it.
Mom never even said okay about you guys moving in. You just invited yourselves in.
What's so bad about a daughter living with her mother? I refuse to move out, no matter what you say. If she doesn't want to live with us, then guess what? She can move out.
Are you being serious?
You said she doesn't want to come, no? Then she doesn't really have a choice, does she?
That is her house.
But we live in it now. You can't make us leave. Did you know Chris used to wrestle? If you try anything stupid, I will have him throw you like trash.
That's how you threaten Mom, too, huh? Whenever she said something you didn't want to hear, Chris would throw things at her. Or hit the wall sometimes. You two are out of your minds. How can you treat your own mother like this?
Because she doesn't know how to keep her mouth shut. Ugh. Anyway, stop messaging me about stupid things. I mean, I'm all ears if you're willing to take her.
My husband and I will be discussing that.
Oh, really? I thought you'd never use your kid as an excuse not to take her. You never know. Let me know when you guys figure it out.
The next day. Isabel, are you still not awake?
Sorry, I couldn't take your call. I just got up a minute ago. I'm in a cab right now on my way to get my nails done, so don't call again. Anyway, you know what you want to do about the old woman?
We want to live with her.
No way! You are seriously willing to take her? Seriously?
Yes, my husband also agrees.
Your husband must be as crazy as you are. Oh wait, I am not letting you take the house though. We live in it now, and we are not going anywhere.
The house is not worth much, so it's fine. It's 1,000,000 times better to take her than the house. I'll be coming to pick up her stuff soon. After that, do as you please.
What's worthless is the old hag. I thought she inherited a load from Dad, but she had nothing but a small saving. She even started to work part-time. I was getting ready to leave her in the woods or something.
Interesting. You were going to get rid of her, huh?
Chris can't relax with her around. I only let her stay until now because she did all the housework. She could have left whenever she wanted, really.
You are unbelievable.
I didn't do anything though, just in my head. I realized that it's kind of difficult to literally get rid of a parent. But now that you're taking her in, I can go on with my life without any burden. You are such a good girl, my baby sister.
Isabel, you will apologize to what you've done to Mom.
Uh-huh. Why me? I kept the lonely old woman company. She should be thanking me instead.
You have been able to live in that house because Mom took care of you. It's hard to believe you don't see that.
She's my mother. Of course she would. She's the one who had me, so it's her responsibility to take care of me.
You will regret all of this.
I don't think I will. Everything is going just as I planned. All I ever wanted was this house. I will not let anyone stop me, no matter what.
A month later.
Sophie, you bitch! You knew!
About what?
That we don't own this house. You knew and never told me.
I don't even know why you thought we own it.
But we grew up in this house. It's been over 20 years.
Mom and Dad never planned to live there for so long. They wanted to move out once we graduated from school. They were looking for a nice place and preparing to move. But then Dad passed away. It was too hard for Mom to move out of the house full of memories.
I don't care about her memories. Why didn't you tell me?
Why would I? What do I owe someone who used my mother like a slave?
I was going to sell the house.
You wanted the money?
I need cash.
Well, too bad. You don't get anything.
Where the hell is your house? Tell me.
Why?
You need to give me money.
I do?
We have to leave this house by the end of this month. I need money to move out. You owe me for not telling me it was rented.
You confused it all in your own sister. I don't see the need for me to pay you anything. Besides, after all you've done, Mom paid this month's rent so that you have a bit of time to figure things out. You really should be thanking her.
Blah, blah, blah. You're wasting my time. She is coming back here. Tell her she belongs here.
She was crying because she doesn't want to live with you two. There's no way she'll be returning to you.
Mom cares about me. That's why she took care of me. If she finds out I'm asking her to come back, she would.
That caring mom has decided she will not return. By the way, you said she doesn't have much money, but you're wrong about that too. She began a part-time job to make it look like she was in need of money.
What?
She was hoping you guys would leave if she didn't have any money.
Are you saying she actually does have money?
Of course she does. Mom and Dad have been saving so they wouldn't have to depend on us. They have always understood well how much it costs to live after retiring. Unlike you, they planned well. She worked so that she wouldn't have to waste any more money that they had saved on you and Chris.
That witch! She fooled me.
No, she was protecting herself from you. You invited yourselves in, made her do all the housework. On top of it all, you made her pay for everything and used any money you could find in her house. If she ever said anything to annoy you, you used Chris to threaten her. So, duh, of course she needed to protect herself.
Sophie, you don't understand. If my husband finds out we can't sell this house, I will get in so much trouble.
Like what?
We are in debt, and I am afraid of Chris. He's been very quiet since we moved in here. I think it's because Mom was around, and because he believes that we are getting money soon. But he is uncontrollable when he gets pissed off.
You should divorce him.
I would have divorced him long time ago if I could. It's not that easy.
I didn't say it was.
Besides, he was so nice at first. He has a very gentle, sweet side too.
Well, I still think you two should separate for once.
Please, I really need money. If he finds out, he would beat me. What if he makes me go work on the streets?
Well, Isabel, you made Mom live with a dangerous person like that. And you were only after her house and money. To me, it sounds like you pretty much asked for it.
Sophie, please. Tell me your address. You have to help me.
I wish you'd asked me for help before you did horrible things to Mom. I may have listened if I hadn't realized what a bully you are.
Tell Mom I am asking for help. She won't answer my calls. None of my messages are going through either.
That's her answer to you right there. Isabel, there were so many ways for you to get help. But you chose to take everything away from your mother. How could we ever consider you our family?
I am her daughter. She has to help if her child is in need.
Life doesn't work like that. If you have the nerve to steal from your parent, you should have used it to leave your husband. This is all happening now because you were only thinking about yourself. You chose yourself over your family.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I will formally apologize for what I have done to Mom. So please help me.
You are old enough to take full responsibility for yourself. We disown you, both Mom and I.
Sophie, forgive me. Mommy, I'm so sorry.
You are way too late to apologize. But I guess you finally understand now that the house really was not worth anything. How does it feel to realize that you've tossed away something you should have treasured? As a farewell gift, I sent her $1,000 and deleted all her contacts from our phone. I realized I was being way too nice, but in case what she was saying about her husband was true, I wanted to give her a final chance to run from him. Although there's a high possibility that she was bluffing and that they're still together. When the real estate agent arrived to the house to collect the keys, Isabel and Chris were already gone, and the house was empty. I don't know what happened to them, and I don't really want to know either. In fact, I hope I don't see either of them again. I questioned why my mother never told me about what was happening in her house. I was very sad to hear that she kept her mouth shut because she was scared Isabel and Chris would threaten my family as well. But she was on the verge when I invited her to my house. She began to cry because the warm food and atmosphere of my house made her realize she wasn't happy with my sister. She must have been so afraid and lonely living with those two bullies. My mother stayed with us for a while after the incident, but has recently moved into a cozy apartment near our house. She says she enjoys living in an apartment where she can relax and spend time for herself. But I know she got an apartment out of consideration for my family, so that she doesn't become a burden to us. We don't live under the same roof, but I'm glad she's only a few minutes away. My mom will never be lonely, and she will have plenty of company from us going forward. I will make sure not to put her through any more stress. I'm so happy I'm able to replace my sister to take care of her.
Hi, Sarah. Thanks for inviting my son over yesterday. He said he had so much fun playing with your son. I hope he was a good boy.
No problem, Nora. He was a really good boy. He has a quiet personality just like you. I want to thank him for being good friends with my son.
Really? I'm glad to hear that. He can be really naughty when he's at home. Maybe he gets nervous at his friend's house.
Maybe. Boys his age are so naughty at home. My son was so naughty this morning. I was exhausted by the time he left for school.
Me too. Without my husband's help, it would have been impossible for him to get ready for school in time. Young boys are really energetic.
I'm so jealous. Such a nice husband. Your husband helps you take care of your son? My husband never helps me look after him.
Really? Your husband looks kind, though.
He's definitely kind, but he's really busy with his work. Thanks to his hard work, he was able to get a promotion and now gets a good salary.
That's great.
Yeah, it is, but there are some bad things too. He's really talented, so he attracts a lot of attention.
Isn't that a good thing? I don't see any disadvantages.
Well, he's not only talented, but also handsome. He's kind and good at his job as well, so he's quite popular among boys and girls. It makes me worry as his wife. Do you get what I'm trying to say, Nora?
Yeah, I bet he's really popular at his office. I think I get why you're worried.
Right. I really don't know why he chose to marry me. You know, I can be aggressive sometimes. It might have been better for him to marry a more elegant and feminine woman.
Don't worry. Your personality is definitely one of your charms. Your husband fell in love with you. You should feel more confident.
I hope so. If only I was elegant and feminine like you, Nora. I wouldn't have to worry about these things.
Me? You have your charms, Sarah.
Really? Don't flatter me. I might get overconfident about myself.
I'm serious. You should feel confident about yourself.
I feel like I forced you to say this. Nora, you really helped me gain my self-confidence. Thanks.
I just told you my honest thoughts.
You're really kind. Oh, by the way, I was hoping if we go to our son's open school together.
Sure, I was also planning to visit his open school. Thanks for asking. I thought you were going with close mom friends.
I wanted to go with you. I actually got into a little fight with them the other day, so we decided to go separately this time, and our sons are in different classes anyway.
Oh, I see. I'm happy you asked me. I'll see you on open school day then.
Our sons are great friends as well. I guess we all get along. I'll come pick you up, okay? I heard they were going to read their essays for us during open school. I'm so excited to hear about what they wrote.
Was the topic about their family? It's kind of embarrassing to hear what they think of us, but I'm also looking forward to it.
I know, I'm a bit nervous to be honest. See you on open school day.
Hi, Sarah? I have a question to ask. do you have some time right now?
What? I'm really busy. If you have anything you want to ask me, go on. Let's end this quick.
Then I'll get straight to the point. Your son has been acting weird recently.
Weird? How? Can you be a bit more specific?
Did you tell your son to ignore my son?
Why would you think so?
My son told me that your son ignored him at school today. When he asked him for the reason, he said so.
My son said that? His honesty is his charm, but I guess he's a bit too straightforward. I should have told him not to say that.
So you admit it? Why would you tell your son to ignore my son?
Why? I think it's pretty clear. You really don't know why. How about you think of the reason yourself?
I noticed your attitude changed all of a sudden. You used to text me a lot before, but you barely text me now. Even if I text you, you tend to ignore my messages and never reply. But I really don't know why you changed so much.
I'll give you a hint. Open school. Do you remember anything?
Did I do something that offended you?
Think about your husband.
My husband? He wasn't there with us, though.
He wasn't, but your son revealed something in his essay. He said that his dad stays at home every day and plays with him. Doesn't that mean he's jobless?
No, he has a job. He's often at home, but he has a job. He works every day just like your husband.
He can't be at home if he really has a job. I have to make wise choices about who to be friends with. I can't let my son be friends like someone whose dad is jobless.
He has a job. Don't look down on us. And our sons have nothing to do with this in the first place. They've been great friends for a long time. It's up to them to choose who they want to be friends with.
You have no idea about how friends can influence your child. Both my husband and I are intelligent people, and my son is also both intelligent, got it? What if my son becomes stupid like your son by being friends with him? Can you take responsibility for it?
Are you insulting my son as well? I love my husband and son. They are really important to me. I won't allow you to insult my family.
If you were smart like me, you wouldn't be emotional like this so easily. You should just interact with your kind of people. Stupid people like you. I don't want you to get involved with my son.
Okay. I never knew you were so mean, Sarah.
What if I was? It's none of your business. I don't need a poor friend who married a jobless guy.
Alright. I won't text you anymore. And I will never get involved with your family. Are you happy with that?
Of course. I don't want to interact with poor families. I never want to be poor like you. Nobody ever bring your son near my son. Tell your son not to play with my son ever again. He is definitely a negative influence.
I'm exhausted.
What's the matter, darling? It took you longer than usual to take your lunch break.
Oh, I'm really busy. I barely have time to eat my lunch. A big project is coming up. I know it's my job, but it's really tiring.
Are you okay? Don't push yourself too hard, okay? I get that you're busy, but you have to take a break once in a while.
Sorry to make you worried. But others work harder than me.
Your colleagues?
Nah, the engineer we're working with. He doesn't work for our company, but he's great. He's famous in the field. Without him, our project would have failed a long time ago.
I never heard you praise someone so much. I bet he's really great. I hope my poor mom friend gets to hear about him.
Poor mom friend. What are you talking about?
Her family is so dumb. They don't understand how poor they are and the negative influence they're giving to their surroundings. Her husband is jobless.
Life must be hard for them then. So, does his wife work instead?
No, she's a housewife. I really wonder how they're making a living. I guess they depend on their parents' money.
I feel really sorry for their child.
Really? I thought so too. Jim was friends with their son, so I told him to start interacting with them. I think he'll be a negative influence for Jim.
Do I know him too? If you're friends with his mom, I think I know him too.
Oh, I'm talking about Nora and her family. But there's nothing to worry. I told her to never get involved with our family.
Nora and her family? Are you serious? Tell me you're kidding. You haven't offended her, have you?
What's wrong? I only told her the truth that she wasn't aware about. Her stupid family is definitely a bad influence for Jim.
You're the stupid one. Come to my office right now to apologize. Right now.
Huh? What's wrong with you? Why do I have to do that?
The engineer I was talking about earlier, he is Nora's husband.
Huh? You have to be kidding. Her son wrote in his essay that his dad stays at home all the time. Doesn't that mean her husband is jobless?
He's a freelance engineer. It's not a rare job nowadays. You misunderstood and insulted her. How can you insult her based on your assumptions?
Wait a minute. What's gonna happen if I don't apologize?
He's a calm man. I don't think it will affect our project, but you insulted not only his wife, but his son as well, right?
Not exactly. I might have sounded a bit aggressive, though.
You definitely offended his family. If I was him, I wouldn't want to work with someone whose wife insulted my family. Project might end up failing because of you.
That can't happen. I can't directly insult her husband.
Just come to my office right now to apologize. Fortunately, he's visiting our office today. Hurry up! Got it?
Nora, you have to help me. You're the only one I can rely on.
I can't believe you're texting me after all the things you said yesterday. What do you want from me?
I heard about your husband from my husband. He's not jobless, is he?
Why? Does your husband know my husband?
Your husband works with my husband's company, right? I met him today.
Oh, right. I almost forgot. And what do you want?
My husband told me your husband has been a great help, so I want to apologize about what I said to you yesterday. I'm really sorry, Nora.
How does your apology relate to you asking me for help?
Your husband seemed really angry about it. Both my husband and I apologized to him, but he said he won't accept our apology unless you forgive me. He said he can't make the decision because it's also about you and your son.
So, you want me to tell my husband that I forgave you?
Yes, that's right. I might have been a bit offensive, but we're good friends, aren't we? Friends fight sometimes. Let's both forget about it.
No, I can't forget about it. We're not friends anymore, are we? You're the one who wanted to stop being friends.
I'm asking you to forget everything I said. Let me apologize for everything I said that offended you. I'll allow my son to play with your son. So please, we can be friends again, can't we?
Why do I need to allow my son to be friends with your son? I thought you were the one who was asking for help. I don't think you really feel sorry.
Let's just ignore the small details, okay? I thought you were a kind-hearted person, Nora. You seem to be narrow-minded today.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just told you my honest opinion.
Your honest opinion? If you have anything you want to say, I'm ready to listen. I'm always your friend.
Let me be really honest with you. Why are you apologizing via text, not in person? Do you really feel sorry?
You know, I don't want to bother you by visiting your house. I'm being considerate.
What's with your arrogant attitude? I'm the one who decides if I forgive you or not. You don't sound sorry at all, Sarah. It's like you're apologizing for your own good.
No, that's not true. I'm the one to be blamed. I'm fully aware of that. So don't be so mean to me.
Is this funny to you? If you don't feel sorry, don't apologize. It's frustrating. I don't think I can forgive you, Sarah.
Nora, do you know that I'm older than you? Can't you respect me more? How can you say something so mean?
If you want respect, act like you deserve it. I don't think you're worthy of respect.
Don't you remember that I was the one who talked to you first? Who do you think helped you to make many mom friends? How about express some gratitude?
Gratitude? You have to be kidding. You never acted out of kindness. You just wanted someone you can look down on.
How dare you say that?
The only thing you do is brag about your husband. You talk it away to get praised by others. And if you dislike someone, you instantly kick them out of your friend group. Many of your mom friends feel the same. You're a difficult person to be around.
Huh? Who would ever say that? Have you been making fun of me all this time?
You could be difficult sometimes. But I always looked up to you. You have great leadership. Well, I regret looking up to you, to be honest.
If you thought highly of me, can't you just forgive me? You looked up to me at one point. We can be friends again, Nora.
There's nothing I can respect about you at this point. You insulted both my husband and son. I don't think I can be friends with someone who insulted my family.
I'll allow your son to be friends with my son again. Are you destroying your son's friendship because of your own problem? I don't think that's something a mother should do.
There's nothing I have to worry about. Your son apologized to my son the other day. He said sorry he ignored him just because his mother told him to.
Huh? Jim said that?
Good for you, Sarah. Your son is a good boy. He's indeed very intelligent. I respect your ability to raise such a good boy. How about you learn how to be mature from your son? Because you're definitely being more immature than him. After our conversation, I instantly blocked Sarah. I then sent all the conversation I had with Sarah using messages to her husband. He was so shocked to read all the messages he sent me, and he decided to live separately from his wife. My husband never planned to make his personal emotions get in the way of his work, so he still works with Sarah's husband. To avoid the worst-case scenario of their project failing, her husband wanted Sarah to apologize, just in case. He hoped she would learn from this experience and better her personality in the future. But sadly, she did not seem to learn anything from it, so her husband decided to live separately to reconsider their marriage. I no longer keep in touch with Sarah, but our sons remain to be great friends with each other. Her honest and kind-hearted son reflected on his actions, regretted ignoring my son because his mom told him to, and apologized to my son. My son is lucky to have such a good friend. I hope he can continue to cherish this friendship in the future, and grow up to be a wonderful gentleman.
It's been a long time, hasn't it, Sadie? Since yesterday, I was overseas on vacation. I'm sure you'd like a souvenir from me, right?
I can do without one.
Are you sure? I just thought that since you have no money and couldn't go overseas with me, you'd want something that I brought back at least. That way you two can feel like you went overseas with me for a bit.
Thank you for thinking about me. But I'm totally fine without you worrying about me.
You really can't act a little friendly around me, can you? And now that I think about it, are you still going out with that man you had?
I am?
I should have known. Well, you're getting pretty old now, so you should be trying to marry him before it's too late.
Well, I'm waiting on that still.
Is he still thinking of becoming a designer? By this time in his life, if he hasn't been able to get where he wants to be, he should just give up, right? And you've been working a lot to try and support the both of you, right? He's pretty much a parasite now. You're better off leaving him, Sadie. You're not getting any younger.
He's doing his best to achieve his dream, and we believe that the both of us can succeed with his dream. So my job for right now is to just keep supporting him.
But if he ends up succeeding, he'll probably just throw you away for a more pretty and young girl. And then you'll be in even deeper waters because you have to start back to square one looking for someone to marry you. Isn't it that you can't carry a child either?
How does that have anything to do with this?
I bet you it does have something to do with everything.
Well, he doesn't really care to have any kids in the future. So that's another reason that he's happy to have found someone like me.
Well, I bet he'll have a change of mind eventually. What's the point of having a malfunctioning wife when there are so many other better women out there?
He's with me because he loves me. But I'm sure that someone that only thinks about herself would never understand that.
You finally broke. You're back to taking cracks at me now, aren't you? In my case, I was waiting around for a real man to find me and make me his wife. But at the age you're at, there aren't going to be any other chances for marriage. I feel bad for you.
What do you mean by a real man? Like a good-looking face or something?
Him having good looks is always going to be number one. But that wouldn't be enough for me to have married him.
Then you were also thinking about his income? After all, your husband is the son of a CEO, right?
Right? He is expected to be the next in line for taking over his dad's company. The family that my husband is from is filled with elites, and they are so well known that even some of their friends are known as celebrities. And now that I'm with him, I've become friends with celebrities myself. That's why you have to make sure the man you choose has a lot of worth.
Seems he's a 1 in a million kind of guy.
And of course, things are going just as planned. All I have to do now is have a son that grows into a success himself, and my life will be perfect.
Don't you have a daughter right now, too?
Well, Isabel's not that great of a kid. She always seems to end up in the middle when it comes to her grades, like B's and C's, and her face isn't all that cute either. I'd say she turned out to be a bit of a failure.
She should be more than perfect to you, though. And to me, I think Isabel is very cute. Although it has been 5 years now since I last saw her.
She's going to be normal like all the other kids, and I don't like that. When it comes to my son, he's turning out to be far superior to her. Not only is he excellent with his studies, but he's also amazing at sports and can play the violin really well. And when talking about his face, you can tell he'll become a stud.
How old are they?
My son is 10 years old now, and my daughter is going on 16, I think.
You don't even remember how old your daughter is?
Well, I don't really care much about her.
Aren't you being a bit rude? I feel really bad for Isabel.
Well, when it comes to my husband and his family, they all pay attention to my son. I guess he's going to inherit the company one day, and so everyone wants to make sure he's perfect.
But these days, you shouldn't be looking at your children like that. Especially thinking that just because he's a boy, he deserves more of your attention.
But when it comes to succeeding in the business world, men always finish first, right? When I ended up having a girl as my first child, everyone around me was upset.
I see. That must have been tough on you as well, then.
When I finally ended up with a son as well, I knew he'd turn into a success. I'm so glad I tried again with my husband, because now I'm very much happy to be in this family.
That's great for you.
I ended up with an elite family, so I'm thinking about you. Really? Why did you have to end up the way you are? I bet both Mom and Dad are looking down right now from heaven and are both very sad.
I'm sure that the both of us live in completely different worlds from each other, so there's no need in saying things like that.
Well, if you start to struggle with money, I hope you don't plan on coming to me for help. Because I haven't even talked with my husband or his parents about you much. You've already done enough to make you an embarrassment for me.
All right. It was my fault for not turning into the older sister you'd hoped I'd be. I'll make sure not to cause you any more harm, Kenzie. 1 month later.
Hey, Sadie. Do you want one of my kids? I'll give you my daughter. You're not even able to give birth, so this is perfect for you, right?
Huh? What are you talking about?
I'm saying that I will give you my kid. And it'll be my daughter that you get. Because I'm keeping my son.
What do you mean by giving her to me? They aren't just some items of yours to give away like that. They're both your children, right?
I know that, but I've come to realize that I don't need my daughter anymore. Actually, that's what was brought up to me, but still.
Who brought that up to you?
Both my husband and his parents.
What?
They told me that women are useless, so we don't need her. And it's not like my daughter is good at anything anyway, and she doesn't do anything around the house either. We see her just living with us as a waste of money, so we want her out of here.
Why are you acting like all of that is okay to do? I mean, what the hell do you guys think of children that makes you act that way?
Really, I'd like just to kick her out of the house right now. But she's still going to school, right? If something were to happen to her out on the streets, we'd be the ones getting questioned. But we can't wait another 2 years for her to graduate, so we want you to have her.
Even if you say something like that with such urgency, I've never taken care of a child before.
You'll be just fine. She's already enough now, where she can do most things on her own. She's able to keep her own schedule and do her own chores and cooking. She's even at the age where she started working on her own part-time job.
Are you the one making her do that? Because normally, it'd be you that makes her dinner and cares for her still.
We don't even let her come to the dinner table to eat with us. And we told her that she needs to do all her laundry and cleaning by herself. She doesn't mean anything to us, so what's the point of us helping her out?
And what about your son?
I'm taking care of all his needs. He's our only priority after all.
What is wrong with you? Your job as their parents is to take care of them so that they can focus on school. And even after graduation, you should still be there as their parents. Yet you're treating Isabel like she's an outsider. That is messed up.
I don't want to hear from someone who doesn't even have kids on her own to raise my children.
But what you're doing right now is not okay.
Well, if you want to complain about it so much, then you can take Isabel and raise her. I'm more than happy letting you experience what it's like to be a mother. I don't want to keep thinking that you understand what it's like to having to take care of someone like her.
But don't you see that what you're saying about your own daughter is horrible? I already knew that you had been a very selfish person before, but now I'm starting to think that you're just completely nuts.
Huh? I don't want to hear any more from someone whose whole life has been full with failures. Either way, I'm going to be throwing her anyway, so why don't you just take her away from me?
And you think by doing that everything will go back to being perfect for you? No, let's just stop this already. I can't even begin to understand how you can think like that.
Why are you acting like I'm the idiot here? Unlike me, you have nothing to show for and no connections to the rich whatsoever.
All right, I'll take Isabel off your hands. I don't want her to experience any more of the horrors you keep subjecting her to.
And you won't have any second thoughts, right?
No, I wasn't planning on having a kid of my own, but now I think I have no other choice.
I had always thought about just giving her away to you from the start, but now I can see that you both will fit perfectly together as dysfunctional women.
But I have one thing to ask, and that's that you will never talk to Isabel ever again. I already know that she's experienced more than enough trauma from you all.
You didn't even have to ask. I was already planning on never caring about her again. I have to start focusing on caring for my son even more, and I don't have the time to be wasting it on some lost cause like her. Just make sure you don't come crying back to me about how much of a defective child she is.
Don't you dare compare me to the likes of you.
By the way, is your boyfriend going to be okay with all of this? You didn't even talk with him, and yet you've already made your choice.
I feel bad for having to do this to him, but I've already decided to take Isabel from you. And if he has something to say about that, then I'll deal with him at that point.
You sure are selfish too.
Of course, right now I am, but I'm sure he'll be able to forgive me for this. I think that he trusts my judgment enough as it is. And when I bring up the situation you've put Isabel into, he'll agree that I've made the right choice. A few years later.
Long time no see, Sadie. I heard everything about that girl.
What do you want from me?
I heard that Isabel was able to find herself a full-time job. And so, I was just wanting to congratulate her on that.
We don't need you to congratulate her on anything. For the longest time now, you've left me alone. So why have you really come back?
Is it that she was able to get into a large company?
That's right. Isabel really worked her butt off to get where she is. She even made sure that when she was in university that she studied abroad for a bit and also did lots of intern programs. Every single day, she was busy working to perfect herself. When she went abroad to study in Europe, she left me at home feeling a bit lonely, but came back with all kinds of experiences. And in the end, she was able to use all of that to get herself into a huge company. She's amazing.
Is that so? She really has become a wonder, huh? Well, I'd like to take her back now then.
What?
If you send her back home, I'll forgive her for everything. So please send her back over to our house right now.
What are you saying, Kinsey? Did you not hear me before? She's found her own job now within a large company.
I've heard you already. She entered a very large company that's based all over the world. And that's why I said what I said. She did turn out to be my husband and my kid. So I'd like her back now so that I can start living with her again.
Are you okay in the head? Right now, she's living with her mother at home.
Uh-huh. But I'm her real mom, right?
You have no right to be calling yourself her mother after all you did. And besides, she considers me her mom, and you nothing more than a bad dream. She doesn't want anything to do with you anymore, and I agree with her.
But I was the one that carried her to childbirth.
And so what, Kenzie? You're also the one that threw her away. And then I took her in and raised her, so I have the right to being her real mother. I'm legally her mother as well.
What do the laws have to do with this? Her and I have the same blood running through us.
I think you're getting things a little confused.
All you've done is raise her for 7 years, and you think that makes you a real mom? I'm not the only one that gave birth to her, but I also raised her for 16 years after that.
But it seems you never did any of it with love. And so, to make up for that loveless life she had growing up with you all, I had to make sure she knew how much she was loved within my house. I may have had to take her when she was already in her mid-teens, but she calls me her mother now. No matter what you say, Isabel and I are mother and daughter.
What makes a defective woman that can't even make a kid of her own think that she can talk to me that way? You don't even have the money to compete with someone as elite as me. Just because I left her there with you for a little while does not give you any right to think that you're better than me.
Well, even if it's by a little bit, Isabel still thinks of me as more of a mother to her than you. I never once let her feel left out. And never did I compare her to anyone as a way of making her feel bad about herself.
You're going to take a few cracks at me again, huh? I already know that you're still single. I'm even surprised that you were able to get Isabel into a college when you're a single woman with no money.
I've been married.
To that parasite of a man? No way.
He's not a parasite. It's because of him that Isabel and I were able to have this wonderful life.
Did he find a job?
He succeeded. He finally became the designer he'd always dreamed of being. And right now, he's making hundreds of thousands with his work.
Hundreds of thousands?
The reason I chose to stay with him is because I believed he could achieve his dream. But I never thought he'd make it as far as he's come.
There's no way something like that could happen. You're not going to fool me, Sadie.
I'm not trying to fool you, though. Right now, he's being asked to do work for all kinds of brands and is super busy with his work. He's actually so busy right now that I rarely get any chances to see him.
I want to see evidence of this then.
If you just search his name up, you'll be able to see all the evidence you need.
What the hell? You weren't kidding.
I may not have as much money as you guys do, but I can tell you right now that the one thing you kept making fun of is no longer gonna fly.
But a defective wife is still defective, right?
But I was able to raise the girl that you threw away into such an amazing woman. That should make up for not being able to have a baby of my own, right? And I've been wanting to ask this. Why do you think me not being able to have a baby makes me a defective woman? I think that's just you acting like a little brat because you couldn't find anything else wrong with me to make fun of.
You're not able to pass your genes, making you a defective woman. That's what both my husband and his parents have said about you.
And so, in other words, you're saying that you can only regurgitate what other people think because you're too brainless to have opinions of your own? Huh. I guess things haven't changed with you over the past 7 years. You did tell me before that him and his parents said women are useless, right? That's your reason for leaving Isabel behind, right?
I'm the wife in the house, so I had no other choice. I can't say no to anything they ask of me.
Oh, stop trying to blame this on both him and his parents and start thinking about all of this with your own head. But maybe you really don't have a brain, and that's why you're willing to do as anyone tells you. Right. Life must be much more relaxing when you don't have to think about anything. It can be relaxing, but you begin to turn into a drone that does as they like.
I just made sure to do my best to make a perfect family. I was able to do way better than you to have a better life more rewarding than yours.
Right. I can agree with you on that. But all that happiness you have relies on the people above you, right? Do you really think you can live life knowing that your happiness is only based on what your husband thinks of you?
Come on, Sadie. I'm just trying to live a life where I'm told that I've done well for everyone.
So then why are you asking for Isabel back when they all told you to kick her out before? There has to be something else to all of this, right?
What are you talking about?
Your father-in-law ended up passing away all of a sudden, right? Your husband was able to take his seat as the CEO, but do the changing in the company's policies things didn't go as planned, right?
What are you on about, Sadie?
I have some friends that know a lot about your husband's company. The fact that the company is on the verge of collapsing and that your son has been doing some not-so-great things there.
Don't say things like that about my husband. And that's my amazing son you're talking about.
Well, I've heard that there's been some problems with your son. He caused some stuff in school and had to drop out, right? Seems that you raising him has ended in failure, right?
I haven't failed him yet. Right now my son is just going through a rebellious phase is all.
Maybe it's because you and your husband catered to his every need so much that he thinks no matter what he does, he can get away with it because you both will forgive him. But I can't blame that on him because it's the fault of those that raised him.
But he should be able to change his attitude here soon. If we only had more money to support him.
And that's the reason you want Isabel back? Well, I'm sorry, but Isabel is working in an office overseas. She made sure to go somewhere that's out of your reach.
Overseas?
I'm not going to tell you what country she's gone off to. So don't even bother trying to use Isabel for your own sakes.
Then, can you at least help us? You have money now, right?
I'm sorry, but I'm also going to be out of this country. My husband has been getting more jobs from Europe recently, so we thought it'd be a lot easier to just live over there. So I will no longer have to see you again.
Wait, Sadie. Please don't throw me away right now. We're sisters, right?
Well, in your case, you have that elite family of yours, right? So have them help you with all the money they should have. I'm sure they'll be able to understand what you're all going through right now. And if they don't, they might treat you like the useless woman you are. After that. From that day on, I didn't hear anything else from my sister. I was able to see what looked to be her husband's company going completely bankrupt. And since they won't be able to rely on their son for anything, I'd assumed that the company would be sold off and reformed by someone else. On another note, I've moved to Europe with my husband, and we're both living our best lives. We may be living in a different country than our daughter, but where she's at isn't all that far from us. And compared to being in the US, we're like neighbors. And because of that, we've been able to see her again when she makes her way over to visit. And now she has a man of her own, and will bring him over to see us. I'm looking forward to the day she tells us the big news.
Frank, are you going to be able to come home a little early?
I don't think it'll happen. I told you already that recently I've been busy. Did you forget that?
Well, today I heard the results from the exams I took at the hospital. And I want to talk with you, face to face, about what they found out.
Now that you mention it, you were going on about how you haven't been feeling okay before. How'd it go? I don't want to wait all day to hear from you, so just go ahead and say it.
They said that I have cancer.
Huh? Cancer? Hmm? You have to be joking, right?
I'm being serious right now. That's why I don't want you to joke about this anymore.
Like the serious kind of cancer? You're not just messing with me right now, are you? Because before you were doing all your work just fine with no problems. And you always seemed to care about your health a lot more than me and even exercised. So that must mean it's something they can fix in no time, right?
I don't have any idea yet. But either way, I'll have to start going in for treatments. So I think next week I'll start staying at the hospital. They want to run a lot more detailed tests on me.
Is that so? I'm sorry for screwing around before. I just didn't think this would turn out to be anything life-threatening, you know?
You're fine. I'm also having a bit of a hard time accepting all of this. But, man, am I really shocked by everything they said to me.
Rightfully so. Well, I think for the rest of the day, you should do all the things you want to help you relax and eat whatever you'd like. After all, you won't know about all the details until you go back in for more tests, right? So this could all be some mistake on their part that you're getting all worked up over.
But they're saying it's not looking good for me. I got a lot of bills and costs from the hospital for the treatments, so I'd like the two of us to read through it all together.
I'm sorry. Once work's done here today, I'd love to just come back home. But I really am going to be busy for a while.
You've been really busy with work for over half a year now, right?
Once I'm able to finally put the project I'm on to rest, I'll make all the time in the world for you.
So, does this mean while I'm in the hospital you won't have any time to come in and see me?
I plan to go to see you there. But how long would you be in the hospital for?
I think for just a week to start.
1 week, huh? Well, that should be okay. I think I'll be able to make it in once, maybe.
I'm really going to be getting very worried about all of this. I know that I said I haven't come to accepting everything yet, but really, I just don't want to think about this anymore. So, even before I have to go to the hospital to stay, I don't want to be all by myself.
Sorry, I have to work. The reason that I'm working so hard is so that I can continue to take care of you. It's all for the sake of living happy together with no worries. I do really feel sorry for having to leave you all by yourself during such a long period, but you can hold out a little longer. Once my project is all finished and my work has calmed down a bit, I'll be able to stay around you longer.
I see. Alright then. I'm sorry for bothering you about that.
No, you're the one that's gotten sick, so I'm sure you feel helpless right now. And it is cancer after all, right? I get how you're feeling right now.
Then can you at least come home early today to be with me?
Alright, I have something in mind. Today isn't going to work for me, but tomorrow I promise to be home for you. I'll ask and see if they'll let me go early.
Really?
I'm being serious. If I were able to control my schedule and everything, I'd be home in a heartbeat.
Alright. Then I look forward to seeing you more tomorrow.
All right.
And I want you to listen to all my concerns and everything as well.
Okay. Make sure not to dwell too long on all of this and get to bed as soon as you can. And I'm going to get back to work. You'll be fine, Zoe. Once you've gone to the hospital and gotten all your treatments, everything will go back to being normal. I'll even make sure to take a few days off to go somewhere nice as a celebration to you.
Frank, even though I've been in the hospital for a bit now, you still haven't come to see me once.
I'm sorry. There were some issues at work.
But you promised me that you'd come at least one time to see me. And since I've found out that I have cancer, you still haven't come home in time to ever talk to me about it. I think I understand how you feel about all of this now. Even though I've become really sick, you still don't seem to care. You're just the same as you've always been. All talk, but nothing to show for it.
Don't say such rude things about me. Hey, there was that one morning that I listened to what you had to say before I went to work, right? I made sure to make time for you to talk to me about everything.
That was like for a few minutes, Frank. And it seems like everything I said to you about my condition just went right over your head.
That's not at all what happened. It's just that even though you say these things to me, I don't have the mental capacity to think about them. Honestly, I don't even have any good advice for you.
I'm not trying to get any advice from you, though. I just want you there to listen to me talk, so I don't feel alone during all of this.
I'm sorry.
Today they found out further things about the cancer and have decided on a good treatment for me.
What's that?
They were saying I only have half a year to live at most.
Huh? You're lying.
Frank, if I were just lying, that would have been amazing.
So at this point, no matter what they do, there's nothing that'll stop the cancer?
That's what they think right now.
What do you mean by them thinking that right now? This is something really important.
If they can't figure out a way to fight back the cancer, then there's nothing else that can be done.
What? Zoe, are you just gonna give up and leave me here? I don't want anything like that. I don't want to believe anything you've just said.
And I'm in the same boat, Frank. Also, I'll be staying at the hospital a lot longer now.
I'm so sorry. I'm still not ready for something like this to be happening. I don't even know how I'm supposed to go see you now because I don't know what emotions will come out.
You don't have to think too much about that. I just ask that you stay by my side until the end.
Okay. I'll try and make sure that starting today, I get out of work sooner. I'll then be able to spend a lot of my time next to you in the hospital.
Aren't you busy with work, though?
But when you say you only have so much longer to live, I don't care about work anymore.
Oh, I see. Thank you, Frank.
Isn't this the right choice for me? To do anything you ask of me while you're that sick? If there are places you want to go and visit, I'll make sure to take you to them.
Alright. Then I'd like you to help me inform everyone I know about what is happening with me and help me prepare for the end.
You want me to help you with that?
And not just that, but also the fact that after I'm gone, all my things will be stuck in your house, right? I don't think you should be left to deal with all of my things by yourself. So I'm thinking little by little, we should start cleaning my things up.
Already? You still have some time for this to all be fixed, right?
I will still be getting treated, but the probability of things going well aren't high for me.
But instead of doing what seems like chores, shouldn't we be spending your time doing a lot more fun things like traveling and such?
Right now, I don't have the energy to go anywhere. Really, I just want to continue living life like nothing's ever even happened.
Alright. I'll stop trying to tell you what to do. Let's just focus on whatever you want. So when will be the next time you're in the hospital for a little while?
In about another week or so, I'll still have to go back in for more treatments. So, until then, do the best you can with taking time off work and coming to help me.
Addison, I'm so sorry for not making it home in time to meet you this week, but my wife has finally gone back to the hospital.
Addison?
I'm sorry. I made the promise to start calling you Addie, right? Also, I have some great news.
What's this good news?
My wife said she's only got a half a year left in her. Once I finished up with the funeral and everything, let's you and I get married. And then my wife's money should be coming to me from her life insurance, and we can start living a lovely life together. I can't believe my wishes have been answered. I've been telling myself for a while, but it's my destiny to end up with you, Addie.
Huh? This is your mom, and I want to know what's going on here.
Addie?
This is not Addie. My name is Gretchen. Don't tell me you've forgotten the name of the woman that's given birth to you.
Huh? But this contact is saved under Addie. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, Mom. I think that I've made a small mistake. Can you forget about everything I've said?
Oh, there's no way I'll be forgetting about everything you just told me. Do you have any idea of what all you've just said?
Wait, and that's why I'm saying I made a mistake. You don't have to worry about any of this.
I have no choice but to worry about all of this now. Have you really been having an affair this whole time?
You're wrong, Mom. The name Addie is just that. It's an AI account that I started talking to on my phone.
Huh?
It's one of those accounts where if you start talking to it, it'll start responding back to you and make a conversation. I'm sure someone like you wouldn't have a clue what I'm talking about.
Oh, don't start treating me like I'm stupid, Frank. Your mom knows all about those sorts of AI accounts. But I can tell that you're not just talking with an AI. You can't just marry an AI, and you have to talk with them about getting your wife's life insurance money. And hearing you say that Zoe having cancer and possibly dying soon is good news. Frank, you'd better start behaving yourself right now.
Mom, can you calm down for a bit?
Do you think I can calm down after hearing all that crap from you? I've heard from Zoe that you've not even gone to see her once while she's been in the hospital. But I never thought the reason for that would be because you're having an affair. As your own mother, I am embarrassed by what all you've told me.
And I'm saying you have it all wrong. I just haven't been having good luck together with Zoe. I don't think you know anything about this, but Zoe is a job kind of woman, so she's never home to do any of the chores for me. We both work full-time jobs and such, so we agreed that we split all the chores and do them together, but I'm always the one having to pick up her slack. I've just gotten tired of it. Having to work all day and then come home to do everything myself.
Is that the case?
That's exactly what's been happening. As my mom, you wouldn't want your own son to have to keep dealing with a painful marriage like that, would you? I've been in pain all this time.
Is that so?
You have to be able to understand how I feel about all of this now, right? The girl that I'm going out with now, Addison, is a really well-kept woman that tends to the house all the time. She's both young and has a beautiful face. And whenever I get home from work, she's always making me something delicious to eat. I'm sure if you met her, you begin to like her yourself.
Does she plan to marry you later on as well? Especially when you're still married to Zoe? Do you think I'd like that about her?
You don't have to say it like that, though. Starting to date her while being married to Zoe is wrong of me. But there's only a little while longer before everything's okay.
Ugh, even if you see it like that, an affair is an affair.
But it's an affair involving true love.
Ugh, I don't want you to ever say that having an affair over true love is okay. Do you not understand how little you've cared for Zoe while you've been married to her? It's been her this whole time that's done nothing but care for you. She was the one that got you to start talking with your parents again after such a long time of never seeing us. And she was the one that got you to quit your gambling addiction when you started to lose too much money. And who was the one that continued to care for you and support you as you continued to change through careers? The only reason you've been doing so well right now is all thanks to everything that Zoe has done for you.
I'm sure you can say that most of my success is due to her, but no matter how you look at this now, she's only got a half a year left. You still want to see me have a grandson for you, right? So you should be able to keep all of this a secret now. I don't want you saying anything needless to Zoe about this, okay?
So you plan for us to just keep this hidden? Even though you went and said all those horrible things to me?
I must have just messed up. When I was changing Addison's name to her nickname, I must have accidentally changed yours to Addie. Also, you'd never want to tell someone on their deathbed that their husband has been cheating on them, right? And at this point, I'm the only one around to help care for Zoe now. Do you really think that you could do such a thing to her?
I'm sorry, but Zoe has been reading everything we've been saying this whole time.
Huh?
Right now, I'm here with Zoe in her hospital room. You're finished, Frank.
Zoe, a settlement notice just came in the mail to our house and to my girlfriend's house.
It's made it then. And the fact that you could hear from Addie about this is a bonus.
Please don't say her name like that.
If you don't have any problems with the amount I'm asking for, then I'd like you to pay up, okay?
You know dang well that there's a problem. I can't pay you $30,000.
Well, if that's the case, then get on the phone with my lawyer and the two of you can talk that out.
Hey, Zoe, I've broken up with her.
Broken up with Addie? Sorry. I meant with your girlfriend?
Yes. After hearing about everything from my mom, I've thought for a bit. I was able to see that I've been doing a lot of things wrong and that I was lucky to have you as my wife. So I'd like to take a chance to get back together with you. Even if you don't have much longer to live, I want to spend the rest of that time with you.
Well, Frank, even if we do get back together, I still want you to pay that settlement to me.
Huh?
Come on now, Frank. Getting a divorce and that settlement are two different things. That settlement is because of you cheating on me with another woman.
But if I'm going to be together with you again, I want to do anything you want. And so I'd like to keep the money instead of giving it to you so that I can pay for everything. If not, then I won't be able to make your last moments as amazing as possible for you. And also, I'd have to borrow some money to pay you.
Then go ahead and start borrowing that money.
Do you really want to see me go down that badly? I've thought about all of the wrongs that I've made and everything. I want to make sure now that I can treat you well. And I've even prepared for this. I'll make sure to make up for all the pain I've left you in by doing my best to leave you happy and smiling.
You keep saying things like I'm going to be gone soon, but I am still doing just fine for myself. And having you around me now would just be annoying.
What? Aren't you only expected to live a little bit longer?
Right. That was a lie. If I didn't do anything about my cancer, then I would have had half a year left or so. But I was able to get the surgery I needed, and now I'm fine. Of course, I will have to do some more tests even after surgery, so I'll be in the hospital a bit longer.
You kept that all hidden from me?
Frank, I was telling you the truth about me having a cancer.
But you just told me that the half-a-year life expectancy thing was a lie. I was seriously worried about you this whole time. Why would you tell me a lie like that?
Because I knew about you having an affair. And when I was thinking about how to divorce you, the doctors found out that I had cancer. And so I waited a little while longer to see how you'd act. And when you found out about my situation, I had this deep feeling in my heart to trust that you'd be there for me as my husband. But even though I had a bad cancer, you continued to focus more of your time on going to see your partner. And so that's when I decided there was nothing left for me to do besides leave you.
So you're saying that if I would have had started to take care of you more after finding out you had cancer, this would all be different?
I'm not really sure. But I'm sure I wouldn't be as upset as I am right now, though. But I'm glad that I learned just what kind of a person you really are. I just really never expected you to be so heartless through all of my pain.
Zoe, I'm sorry. I'm being serious when I say that I broke up with her. So please just rethink everything you're doing to me.
You don't get to ask something like that from me. You were very happy to hear that I only had half a year to live, and that you'd be getting my life insurance money.
Back then, I was only thinking about my girlfriend and I, so I felt excited about our futures together. But now my eyes have finally been opened.
Well, you're far too late now. Also, I'm sure you're still keeping in touch with your girlfriend as we speak.
We are not. I told you already that we broke up.
Before I came into the hospital for this round of treatments, I had come home once, right?
What?
During that time, I took a look at the laptop you've been using for work. I was able to see all of the messages and everything you've been sending to that Addison.
Huh?
You told her that you were destined to be with her and that's why I got cancer and that I was going to pass. And you said that once I was gone, you wouldn't have to pay any settlement to me because I'd be already dead. Seems like you really haven't learned anything after what your mom told you. I can't believe my plan ended up fooling you though.
Wait, so you were the one that changed my mom's name to Addie to confuse me?
That was me.
So it was all your fault that you got my family involved in all of this. Both my parents have already told me that they don't want me coming back to them ever again. They've completely cut ties with me, Zoe.
And isn't this what you deserve for all of this? If you weren't cheating on me this whole time, then none of this would ever have happened to you.
But everything on that laptop was my privacy. I'm gonna take you to court for this.
Go ahead. I'm already going to be getting a settlement from you and your girlfriend. So, if you think you can still fight me, then bring it on.
Come on, Zoe. I don't want to continue with this kind of crap. I'm telling you now that I'm really sorry for cheating on you and all that. But it's not my fault that someone came along that I became interested in, right?
Well then, if you found someone else to love, you should have told me that we were getting a divorce. There was no reason for you to hide all of that from me and start dating her.
Well, I cared about you so much, Zoe, that I didn't want to say anything that might hurt you.
And if you had a moment where you had to choose between telling me or not telling me because you thought you still cared about me, then you should have never been. Anyway, I already know the reason you never told me was to dodge any kind of settlements. You just wanted to make sure you didn't become the bad person in all of this, right? And now that you've gone and not only wasted my time, but also the time of that other girl, you are the worst kind of man, Frank.
Zoe, please forgive me. I'm telling you that I'll become a much better husband for you. And I'll make sure to actually break up with Addison.
I'm sure you're just saying that. I bet when things calms down between us, you'll divorce me and go marry her. I mean, there is nothing else you could be thinking right now, right?
Believe me, I have nothing else to hide from you now. And from now on, I'll make sure to show you any messages I get or send. I won't cheat on you anymore. I've really learned from everything that's happened between us this time.
Can you stop treating me like an idiot already? I was really hoping that once I made it over this fight with cancer, I'd be able to make things right with you and we could live a much happier life. But now knowing that you not only were just cheating on me, but were also happy to hear that I was dying has killed any feelings I had for you. Do you really think I'd still be willing to trust you? Your head is all screwed up, Frank.
I've thought over everything though. And this was only my first time cheating, right? I promise to never do it with anyone ever again.
And I don't want you to ever cheat on me again. Hence, the divorce. Whether you want to marry someone else or anything else, you go ahead and do it on your own.
I can't. My girlfriend is asking me to pay for her settlement as well as my own. I don't have that kind of money, and I never thought she'd be the kind of woman to ask me to pay for her as well. And so to be honest, I don't think I love her anymore. If it were you, you'd help me out of the situation, right? I have finally been able to realize just how amazing of a wife you've been with how often you've helped me.
No matter how many times you ask, the answer will still be the same. And wasn't it your destiny to end up with someone like her? So you need to follow your destiny and get married to her after we're finished here.
Zoe, I want your forgiveness. I don't know what I'll be able to do without you in my life.
Frank, we are getting a divorce, so just give it a rest, okay? Nothing about this is as hard as you're making it seem. All you have to do is keep going out with that woman and that's it. So go ahead now and throw away your sick wife and move on living as the toxic man you are. After that, I was able to divorce Frank and I was also able to get the money I had asked for him in a settlement. Of course, he continued to ask me to never leave him, but with the fact of him cheating on me, there was no way I'd agree with him. Also, I heard from both of his parents that they blame him for all of this as well, and are never going to help him with anything for as long as they are alive. Before Frank had ever been married to me, he had been a gambler, and a bad one at that, leading him into some pretty bad debt. The person that had ended up helping with all of that debt was me after I'd married him. Before, he would never once talk to his parents after they learned of his addiction, but when I had come in and helped him pay off his debts, he rekindled the relationship he had with his parents. But with what had happened this time between him and I, his parents have completely cut ties with him. Luckily, when I was starting to feel down on my luck after coming out of the hospital, Frank's parents were kind enough to allow me to stay with them for a bit in their condo. They told me that one day, when both of them had passed away, they planned to give their condo to their son and I, but after all that he'd done to me, they chose to allow me to use it while I got back on my feet. And back to Frank and his girlfriend, they both started to fight a lot over the settlement she needed to pay yet, and in the end, they both finally broke up. Addison soon came around to finding the money to pay off the settlement, but ever since then, I've really not much heard about what's happened to her. All I know is that my lawyer told me that when she came in to pay off the settlement, she told him to let me know that she was sorry. I suppose, since we've never talked to one another at all, that I'll accept her apology. But I won't be forgiving her for staying with a man that's happy about someone else dying. Now as for Frank, he is just living on his own in that house with the debt he has from paying me all the money he owed. Even though he's gotten what he's asked for, he's not once learned anything from his mistakes, and so that's why I am never willing to forgive him. I hope that he'll never find a way to pay off his debt and sinks into hell all by himself with nobody there to support him. As for me now, since I no longer have to be in that hospital for treatment, I'm able to go in every so often for a checkup to make sure that I'm staying cancer-free. There was a lot of things that happened to me in a short time, and the stress was immeasurable. But I'm so happy that after everything, I came out okay. I still think about all the time I wasted together with Frank from time to time, but I've also started looking at it as a good experience to learn from. From now on, I won't be just working hard for myself though. I'll also be working hard for those that came to support me during my rough time, and for those that will come in the future. But before I start taking things too seriously again, I'm going to take a small break to relax and unwind. And then, I'll get right back to working and make sure that every day, I live with a smile on my face.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.